Hey everybody, and welcome back to Elley Knows Rocks. We are going to take a single rock today and follow it through all 4 stages of tumbling. That's right, we're going to stick it in a tumbler with a bunch of other rocks behind me, whoops, and see exactly how this one rock turns out. It can't be in there by itself. Rocks upon rocks with grit are what make rocks tumble. I've done this before on my own, tracking them, following them, finding my favorites, which is something that I find a lot of fun. But it's never something that I've put on film. I'm sure a lot of other people have, but I don't go and look at other people's videos. So we're gonna do this together. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this adventure and see exactly how this rock turns out.
For those of you who are new, I'm Elley Ringo, an economic geologist, independent geologic consultant, and an avid rockhound. I love being outside and enjoying the rocks and minerals around me, exploring the unknown and finding amazing things, all while explaining the geology, sharing some fun earth science facts, and encouraging you to get outdoors. So I hope you subscribe and become part of the adventure.
Look at all those. Going in the tumbler. Some random ones, some interesting ones, pieces that might actually have really good fire on them when we're done. Some inappropriate rock ones. I almost hate to put that in there. Oh, and that one. But I really want to see how they're going to come out, so that's why I'm doing it. These back over here, oof. I mean, those are some good inappropriate ones, like some really cool bots that we got going on. But I think it's necessary they go in. I just do. This one, however, that's not going in. Was it this one? That one was cute. Wait, this one. Yeah, that shouldn't go in there either. That's too cute. That's too funny. Definitely he's staying out. And what about this? It's got a lot of country rock on it, but those are some little chubby guys. Anyways, we've got a little batch of geodes that are going in from Dugway. These haven't been opened. I'm just curious what they're gonna look like. So thus they're going in there. This guy, all of these. Have to add some. I wonder how you will turn out. So right now at this timestamp, you guys, I want you to go down in the comments and write what you think that this is going to look like once it is completely finished. I'm letting y'all get a really good look at it. It's the back, real funky. Ooh. I think we might get some fire in there if we're lucky. Anyways, here we go. Okay, our mineral is buried in this array of rocks. Here we go to throw it on the tumbler. Stage 1. Here is our rock tumbler. With following the rock. Ooh, that's on there tight. That beautiful agate that we put in there. And we get to see how it's doing. A little bit off-gassing on this one. It's very normal when you're tumbling rocks. Woo! A lot of off-gassing, actually. That has a very rough smell to it. And I just noticed that my tumbler has a hole in the middle. That's how old they are. They're looking smooth enough. All right, let's dump them out and see what they look like. Nice. Ooh, that's still in one piece. I'd love to see that. We've got some really pretty pieces in here. All right, let's find that rock.
No. My goodness sake. Seriously? This is more and more difficult. Oh, that's pretty. You couldn't have gotten that small already unless it broke in half. Which, I'm gonna say I doubt unless it's this one. Alright, shameless ad right now, guys. If you're liking this content, if you like what I do, or any part of rock hounding or rock tumbling, please don't forget to subscribe. Share this with a friend that likes rocks, or that likes to see somebody make a fool of themselves, or fall down on things, or go rock collecting, or go into abandoned mines or a hot spring. You know all the things that I do. Don't forget to like and comment as well. That is the #1 way to support your favorite creator. So if you're not subscribed, I hope that I earn your subscription today, and thank you all so much.
Okay, I found it. It took me a second. This is the shape, the color we're seeing so far. I was hoping some of the country rock would be gone more, but that's all right. It looks pretty cool, right?
All right, hold on the video right now. How many of you thought the rock was going to look pretty much the way that it did coming out of stage 1? Definitely, hands down, it pretty much looks the way that it should. However, I was really hoping that some of that country rock, or some more of the country rock, would have been a little bit more shaved off, rounded, or just knocked off by the other minerals that were in the tumbler with it. That is what it is.
I mean, that's coming out of stage 1, and we're gonna put them into stage 2 now. I believe that one is also going to be a great looking polished rock when it's done.
Now, some rock tumbling tips right at this moment. The first stage is always 60-90 grit, and it's silica carbide grit that we're using. During the first stage, never add any tumbling medium, meaning your rocks, water, and grit should be the only thing in the barrel for stage 1. Step 2, or stage 2, on your 150-220 grit, that's when you can start to add some tumbling medium. It's otherwise known as tumbling cushion. Some people use ceramic beads, or the little ceramic notches that you've seen. I use tile spacers, or tile X's as I call them, because they're cheap, they're readily available, and they work great. I've been using those for years. It's a very cheap alternative to getting the little plastic beads that wear away really fast. They float, they get everywhere, it's hard to keep track of them, and then they also get stuck in the rocks themselves. That's very frustrating when you're trying to pick them out. But use what's right for you. Now, moving these rocks into stage 2, I did give them a quick soap bath first.
Out of a wash cycle, just to make sure they're nice and clean, because that dirt, the water that comes out, always funky looking, and it's just a good idea to clean out the whole tote. So these are gonna go into stage 2 next.
I just add a little bit of warm water to the barrel with the rocks, a little bit of cushion, because they're coming out of that stage 1 and I want to make sure that the barrel is full enough, and soap flakes, grated soap flakes. I use ivory soap. It's one of the easiest ones to get that has very little scent in it, and it's the most pure soap you can get besides getting just straight borax. Use what's best for you, but that's what I use. It's cheap, it's easy, and you can just grate it on a cheese grater and you put it in a little container, and then you add it to your wash stage or your burnishing stage, which is a completely different story we'll talk about in a little bit. Here are my rocks prepped and ready for stage 2. They have my tile spacers and the 150-220 grit. I'm going to leave them in here for about 5 to 6 days. Now, for the amount of grit that you want to use per each stage, it depends on the size of your rock tumbler. Most people say to use 1 to 2 tablespoons, which actually varies greatly, per pound of rock. And what I do is I use about a tablespoon per pound. I found that that's the best for me, and you're not really wasting any of the grit. The more grit you put in doesn't necessarily mean a better result, but it can mean that you're wasting it, and grit is expensive, so be sure to preserve it. This is stage 2 of the rock that we are following, or the mineral that we are following. No! Don't want to do that. So hopefully it looks beautiful. Ooh, that's a good second stage froth. That's really good. Ooh, something stinks in there. Well, that was anticlimactic. Oh, and I see our rock. I see it right off the bat. That's what it looks like so far.
still has that white crust on it. The fire agate on there is really coming through too. And then here's one of our inappropriate rocks. That one looks kind of funny. Stromatolite. Oh, very inappropriate. Looking great. There's one other one in here we were following. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, if I find it, I will re-show you guys. But at least we've got those two so far. That's looking really cool.
Now, as the rocks come out of step 2, I'm actually really pleased with what they're looking like. I was hoping that we were going to have a little bit more rounding afterwards, but I also wanted to keep a natural shape of the rock. In most cases, people will leave their rocks in stage 1 for much longer than I do because they love a really, really rounded look. And stage 1 is where most of your rock or mineral is going to get knocked off. Scratch that. It's where most of the rounding is going to happen, and the sharp edges are going to become blunt. So your rock is going to become more round in stage 1 than it will in stage 2. I like a more natural look to the rocks that I tumble, so I leave them in stage 1, usually a lot less than most people do. But stage 2 is very crucial because you're getting rid of the scratches that were left in stage 1. And without getting rid of those scratches, stage 3 and 4 will never work on the rock, and you'll always get dull edges, or you'll get little bits that are pitted that weren't quite smoothed out from stage 1. So stage 2 is extremely crucial. By the time you put your minerals into stage 3, you better have them the shape you want them, because stage 3 is not really knocking down too much more of the rock. You are going to get rid of a little bit of the shape, but not by much. Again, you're just getting rid of the scratches left over by stage 2, which again is very crucial. Leaving your rocks longer in stage 2 and 3 is sometimes more beneficial than the amount of time that they spent in stage 1. Sometimes you can even double the time.
These guys from stage 3. See how our little rock is doing. Oh. Oh, looking good. Looking really good. Yep. Oh, we can see it right there. There it is right there. Uh-oh, I dropped a rock. I dropped a rock. Look at all those. All right, let's find it. There it is. Wow. It's looking really cool so far. I'm glad that the white didn't completely go away. That's awesome. Definitely might be able to have visible color in there by the time it's finished, but this is stage 3. So next stage is the polish. Not taking off too much, so that's going to be a really interesting little guy by the time he's polished. And here's the little inappropriate rock that we are also following. Looking pretty good so far. And then this fire agate, I think, is going to be really awesome once it's polished up. There's so many cool things. Like this is a geode or thunder egg possibly, but we're polishing the outside, and then we'll cut one of these open when we're finished just to see like if we get a good inside or not. But man, some of these guys are just turning out really great.
I'm loving what all of the rocks look like at this moment. It's been a little bit difficult for me to find the specific minerals that we've been tracking, although I've been kind of mentally tracking 3 or 4 of them at once. Washing out other tumblers, usually about 5 to 6 tumblers per washout, gets tedious and very time consuming. So even though I'm trying to spend as much time on this particular tumbler as I can, I still have to worry about making sure that all the other rocks that I'm washing and tumbling and making sure they're getting into the proper stages get attention to. Because those are the rocks that I'm selling. And if y'all didn't know this, I sell the minerals that I find, or the ones that I tumble. I sell them on my Etsy and my webpage. Both of those links can be found in the description. So if you're looking for beautifully tumbled minerals that have a natural shape, that I've found personally, and that I think are gorgeous, please go check those out.
All right, here is the 4th stage of the rocks that we have been tumbling to follow just one rock. Ooh.
All right, hold. I know, it's dark. It was late at night. I think this was probably done at about 9 p.m. But I had so many things that I needed to get ready for. So this was one of those last minute things. I didn't want the rocks to stay in the tumbler any longer. Plus, I still needed to do a burnishing stage on them. So I wanted to get the rocks out of there, rinse them off, and then worry about them in the morning.
Nice.
The polish stage uses 14,000 aluminum oxide grit. No, this is not angel dust.
Oh, that's gonna be a little bit of a mess. Where? Oh, there he is. There it is. All right, since it's dark outside, I'm going to rinse these off further, and then we're going to see what they look like in the daylight.
Fail on my part. I never took a video of the rocks in the morning. And I forgot to film during the burnishing stage. So, long story short, a burnishing stage is just something to give the rocks a little bit of extra shine. Sometimes, when you pull the rocks out of the final stage of polishing, they have a film on them, or they look like they're not quite as shiny as they could be. Well, leaving the rocks in a burnishing stage or a soap bath for 24 hours can bring that shine back, and they look awesome afterwards. Not every mineral needs it, but some of them do. Forgive me for interchanging the terms minerals and rocks. I know they're two very different things. However, using a rock tumbler when I believe it should be called a mineral tumbler, don't know how catchy that is, because that's actually what you're doing, is you're tumbling minerals. Very few people tumble rocks. Let's look at the finished product. But look at that. That turned out to be amazing. It's super shiny. I'm so glad that that white crust that was on there before stayed, but you do have little bits of fire on both sides of this fire agate. So that was exciting to see. We have our lovely little inappropriate rock and another inappropriate rock. But then these little bots, these guys right here, these were all of these little bot guys in the beginning that looked like this. And then they turned into that. This guy looks pretty freaking cool. Beautiful pieces of agate. And yes, if you didn't know, you can tumble cut slabs. I do it all the time. They turn out great. Now, I know we didn't talk about this, but this is a stromatolite. Isn't that amazing? There's a little bit of petrified wood, but there's a stromatolite on the outside. I think that the geodes are pretty freaking cool looking. I love the way they turned out. Now, most of those, besides one or two of the ones that I pulled aside, are all going to go in my tumbled rock bags that I sell. So you will have a chance to get one of these beautiful minerals that you've been watching through this entire little mini series of 4 stages of rock tumbling. And it'll be in one of the tumbled bags. So if you do get one of the pieces or you recognize it from the video, come back and leave a comment, because that would be really cool. It's kind of like a geotag for a geocache, although there's no code and there's no real way to submit it, except for showing a picture or saying in the comments that, hey, I have one of your rocks that I watched in the video. That's awesome too. And all of the rocks that are in my tumbled bags of rocks, I find on my adventures. So you're actually taking a little bit of that adventure with you when you get them, just so you know. I'm going to take these two right now and cut them open to see if they're geodes or if they are just thunder eggs. Woo! All right. Here's this little guy. Look at that. It's almost slightly lavender inside. It's pretty cool. It is a thunder egg. It's not a geode, but nevertheless, this is from Dugway Geobeds. Here's this guy. Look at the agate in there. Those bands are beautiful. Again, it's like a light lavender purple, sort of bluish color. Very, very beautiful. but the outsides shine up like glass, which is awesome. And they are. Thank you all so much for joining me on this little mini adventure of following one rock through the 4 stages of rock tumbling. I hope that you learned something from this. Maybe it was a new rockhounding tip. Maybe you'd never seen rocks fully polished before. Whatever it may be, and whatever stage you are in your rockhounding journey, I hope that this brought you a little bit of insight on how to tumble rocks better. I think that rocks are amazing whether they are raw or polished. Polish definitely brings out that extra beauty that they have. Thank you all so much for joining me on this adventure, and I'll see you on the next one.